My highest level of education is a high school diploma.
That's amazing. So how can someone without a professional degree can get into software engineering? If you have a week to prepare for a software engineering interview, what resources would you follow, or what's your advice? Any lead code questions?
I don't think a week would be enough.
Say a month, if you have a month. What are the pros and cons of your role?
So I really enjoy the tech. It's a lot of fun.
This week, I visited the Amazon office in Silicon Valley and interviewed Amazon employees about their salaries, job roles, interview process, benefits, and much more. Watch this video until the end and you'll learn a lot of interesting information. Let's go. What do you do for a living?
I am a software engineer with Amazon.
And how many years of experience do you have?
In total career, about 25.
And at Amazon?
No, only 7 at Amazon.
And what's the salary in software engineering role at someone like at your level? Any specific range in the Bay Area?
It's huge. It's really, but yeah, it depends on all kinds of factors, but anywhere between 180 up.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your advice for someone who wants to break into software engineering role? Any education, degree, certification required?
You're asking the wrong guy because my highest level of education is a high school diploma.
That's amazing. So how can someone without a professional degree can get into software engineering?
Really just have a passion for it. It really depends. Like you want to be able to develop a skill set on your own time and really have a natural interest for it. I remember when I took my first computer science class in university, which I didn't finish, but it was the last thing I wanted to do. I was like, there's no way I'm going to be a computer programmer. There's no way I'm going to do this. It was actually really funny. I took the class and I saw it as a way of like automating work. So I came from high school where you do all this. I was really into math and physics, so I like the science side of things, not necessarily the computer programming side of things. And then I realized really computer programming allows you to write code that does all the stuff you were doing on paper, with pen and paper before, and you can just hit a button and walk off and get everything done.
Yep.
And I firmly believe that one of the most probably important, interesting traits of successful programmers is they are lazy people. And so when I realized that I could just write code to do the work for me so I didn't have to do it, it's like, this is magical.
Wow.
That, and I was in the class, everybody else seemed to be having a lot of difficulty with the course material, and I just didn't. So it definitely takes a certain type of brain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which programming languages would you recommend to entry-level people to get started with? A lot of people ask me, I want to become a developer. What programming language should I start with?
Entry level?
Yes.
I would go Python.
Python?
Yeah.
And for the front end?
I actually don't do any web development at all.
Okay. No.
But React seems to be pretty popular. Yeah.
Okay. And if you have 1 week to prepare for a software engineering interview, which resources would you focus on? Or what type of questions or concepts would you focus on?
That's a really difficult question to answer.
Let's say if you have a month.
I wouldn't say I'm qualified because we switch when we're doing interviews. We switch up the questions all the time, but probably same answer as anybody else would give, which is you want to just go to any resources that are available that have interview questions. I know there's websites that actually post interview questions, but just all the basics.
Okay.
Yeah, like basic object-oriented, basic system design, definitely like graph traversal.
Okay.
Yeah, no matter what job you're applying for in software, that seems to be a really popular topic. Well, the interviews that I've been in and done as well, graph traversal is always something you want to be pretty proficient with as well.
Okay. Being 25 years in your career, what's most important for you at this point? Salary, work-life balance, your job duties, or benefits offered by any company?
Number one, I want to like what I'm working on. I want to have a natural interest for it. Like if there's one aspect of my job that I don't like, if I don't like working on something or it doesn't interest me personally, then I would find something else. Yeah, because I think if you're naturally really interested in what you're doing, you're going to do a better job at it.
Exactly.
I mean, that's not rocket science.
This was very helpful, man. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Very well.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a software engineer at Amazon.
And how many years of experience do you have?
About 2.5, 3 years of experience.
And what's the salary for an entry-level person in software engineering role and someone with, say, 2-3 years of experience?
I would say it depends. The market has changed a little bit, so I would say it varies anywhere between 150 to 250 or so.
What's your education background? Is there any education degree or certificate required?
I studied at UC Berkeley. I got a degree in engineering math and stats.
And what's your advice for someone who wants to break into software engineering role?
I would suggest starting some side projects because that way you're able to get the full experience of like the product development in terms of software engineering, but also practicing lead code also helped me a lot to get the job. So yeah, basically working on those to help me get the job.
So lead code questions are pretty famous, but there are so many questions, like 2,000 questions. Any specific category that you would like to mention that people can get started with?
You can actually sort by the companies when you're practicing lead code questions. So that's what I did when I was practicing for like certain interviews, but also just going down the list of most asked questions in the lead code. That also helped me a lot too.
What do you love most about software engineering?
It's more about being able to make something that a lot of people use. I know it's kind of cliche, but at the same time, I like to see when people like use my applications or like leaving reviews about what I do.
Any specific perks or benefits or something about Amazon that you really love?
The thing about Amazon is it has a lot of different fields, whether it's like Amazon Video, music, Alexa, for example. So I like that Amazon provides a lot of opportunities because there are internal transfer opportunities. So you're able to transfer to different fields if you choose to, but also you can actually grow in multiple sectors because you do work with different sectors like AWS or product, Alexa, and things like that.
Okay, this is very helpful, man. Thank you so much. What do you do for a living?
So I'm a software engineer in Amazon.
How many years of experience do you have?
I have around 13 years of it.
And what's the salary range here in the Bay Area in software engineering role at your level, say 10 to 15 years of experience?
Again, depends a lot, but typically base around 200 plus, but total CTC could vary 350 plus experience.
What's your advice for someone who wants to get started in software engineering? Any specific education, degree, certificate required, or is self-study enough?
Yeah, usually most of the people will do computer science, but a lot of people even do maths plus science plus embedded engineering. So yeah, there are a variety of options, but most common is computer science.
What programming languages do you work on?
So again, depends on various options. So I usually work on Kotlin, Java, Go, and Python.
Someone who wants to get started in software engineering, which programming languages can they get started with?
So current industry trend is more Python. So Python is very well known to new grads. So yeah, Python I would say should learn first.
If you're just 1 month to prepare for an upcoming software engineering interview, which resources, concepts or question would you focus on?
The one common source which is widely used by everybody is LeetCode, correct? LeetCode is very good, and you can refer to levels.fyi for what kind of roles and designations are there on the different companies. So yeah, practice LeetCode, it will get you a long way.
And what's most important for you in a job, salary, work-life balance or your job duties?
Well, it depends on what phase of career you are. So I would recommend for new grads, learning is more important. Learning different technologies and everything. But people, when they are, have kids and all, then work-life balance plays a lot of role. So it depends on what phase of career you are.
Okay, this is very helpful, man. Thank you so much. What do you do for a living?
Software engineer.
How many years of experience do you have?
4.
What's the salary in software engineering role at an entry level and someone with say a few years of experience?
It depends on company. Like if it's like a prestigious company, it'll be around 160 to 200K in Bay Area. And if it's not, it's around 110 to 140K.
Okay.
Senior level would be around 260 to 350.
Okay. And what's your advice for someone who wants to get into software engineering? Any degree, education or certificate required?
Either get an education in electrical engineering or some kind of IT major, or join a boot camp. I think self-learning is for those like particular driven people. If you're one of those, then self-learning works. If not, if you need an environment, then join one of the majors or boot camp.
What programming language do you use on a daily basis?
Java, TypeScript, Kotlin, Python, C++.
If you have a week to prepare for a software engineering interview, what resources would you follow, or what's your advice? Any lead code questions?
I don't think a week would be enough.
Say a month if you have a month of time.
A month of time, yeah, LeetCode. LeetCode's definitely one. Find some kind of system design. There's a lot of them out there. And mainly just kind of go through, like, not only LeetCoding, but kind of go through, like, what company asks what kind of questions. Normally it's like within 100. Just practice them. Yeah.
Any specific resource for the lead for system design questions? Any website or anything that you
I used education.io.
Okay.
But other than that, there's a bunch of others, like free ones, I think.
Got it.
They're all good. Yeah.
And what do you love most about software engineering? Anything that you hate?
I love it as the lifestyle it gives me, and problem solving is really fun. What I hate maybe is not necessarily hate, like love and hate relationship. Constantly not knowing what to do.
Okay.
Like you think you have a grasp of something, and then something comes along, and then you find out that you know nothing.
Okay.
And it's like a constant loop of that. Yeah.
Okay, this was very helpful, man. Thank you so much.
I'm a technical writer.
And how many years of experience do you have?
4.5 years.
What's the salary for an entry-level person in technical writing role and someone with, say, 5 years of experience? Any range?
Yeah, there's definitely a range. And it very much, like I said, depends on the kind of technical writer. So I'm what you might call a particularly technical writer, because I have to know some programming and that sort of thing. Other technical writers don't necessarily need all of that stuff.
Okay.
So on the lower end, it could start maybe 75,000, and on the high end, it can go up to 200,000.
And what skills are needed to become a technical writer?
Well, the kind of technical writing I do, anyway, you need to know some programming. You need to know like command line, and then of course writing. You have to be a good writer. Have to be very good at the technical side of things, being able to read things that may be way beyond what you knew at first, and then diving fairly deep into it.
Any specific certification, education, or degree required for an entry-level person?
Yes and no. You can. It's not absolutely required all the time, but either an English degree or something like journalism is common. Also, a lot of people come from engineering, so maybe ex-programmers want to get into the writing side of things. Yeah.
And what are the pros and cons of your role? What do you love most about it?
So I really enjoy the tech. It's a lot of fun, and I get to be creative because I get to write. So it really combines the best of both worlds to me. And I enjoy the people I work with, so yeah.
What's most important for you in a job? Salary, work-life balance, job duties, or benefits offered by a company?
I like all of those things. Yeah, really, probably salary and work-life balance, perhaps.
Okay. When it comes to searching for a job, which platform comes to your mind first?
I use LinkedIn a lot. That's my main place, yeah.
Okay, this is very helpful, sir. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. What do you do for a living?
I'm application engineer.
And how many years of experience do you have?
Oh, that's about 30 years.
And what's your advice for someone who wants to break into this role? Any certification, degree, or any type of skills required?
Yeah, lots of learning, an engineering degree or physics degree.
What are the pros and cons of your role? What do you love most about it?
Talking to the customers, that's definitely positive. There's no really negative. Sometimes it's a little bit too much traveling.
Okay. What's the biggest mistake that you have seen young generation making when they start their career? Any specific advice for them?
Yeah, keep learning. It's not enough to have a high school degree or a college degree.
Okay.
You need to keep learning.
And what's most important for you in a job? Salary, work-life balance, or your job duties?
Or work-life balance.
Thank you so much. This is very helpful, sir. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
What do you do for a living?
So I work at Amazon, and I am a senior manager at Fire TV Experiences team.
Okay. And how many years of experience do you have?
I've been in the industry for over 20 plus years.
And what's the salary at your level of experience in tech?
I think it varies from organization to, but I would say around like 300, 500.
What's your advice for young professionals who want to break into a tech career?
So definitely, the traditional paths that you can take. You can go down the engineering route and get in that way. But otherwise, really look for your passion. And, there are a lot of new ways these days, whether it's with Udemy, different courses, kind of get into the industry different ways. And, find the right path for you in exploring it.
And you've reached to the managerial or the leadership position. What skills are needed, or what should one do to constantly advance into their career?
Learn and be curious. So you're always going to learn every step of the way as you're moving up. Also, see if you're really interested in people management, if you're really wanting to grow people's careers, improve their scope, and increase their scope. So that kind of helps you sort of assess where your interests are, and just kind of help along the way. People who help you, you got to pass that forward, help others.
And what are the pros and cons of a managerial role?
Pros is you definitely have a larger span of control. You're going to get more in terms of like growth opportunities. And I would say like cons maybe is just, you always have to think about not just your business but also about your people, and there are always going to be some ways of, how do you improve even your own team and what you can do for the overall.
Being 20 years in tech industry, what's most important for you at this point? Salary, work-life balance, or your job duties?
I would say work-life balance and job duties. It's easier to say that when you've been in the industry for 20 years. Salary is always good, but I think work-life balance, being a mom myself, it helps me to have that balance, really.
And when it comes to searching for a job, which platform comes to your mind first?
LinkedIn is probably, networking is the best way to really find jobs. And so build a network. Like, don't just think about the job, but necessarily also build your network, and the network will help you as you go along the way.
This is very helpful. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.